Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to Ham Radio Live, show about radio for people who love radio. Today's show, we'll talk about the largest comet ever seen, easy, inexpensive antenna for 9 bands that you can have very cheap, plus the radio that got away. Welcome from around the world to Ham Radio Live. Off their incredible Eliminator album, came out in 1983, ZZ Top, Sharp Dressed Man, one of 3 top 10s. I think we're all crazy about Sharp Dressed Men, but we got some big stuff for you today. A big show, very packed. We've got lots of stuff from beginning to end. So before we go further, away we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shack in Oregon. I'm Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7 Hotel November. Welcome to Ham Radio Live. It's an honor to see you today. It is Wednesday, April 13th, 2022, and truly a big show today. We're going to talk about the largest comet ever seen. It's true, yeah. And before people get freaked out, it's not heading towards Earth. In fact, they expect it to be quite a ways away when it comes, but it is huge. Man, it's huge. Plus, we'll talk about a very easy and inexpensive antenna that you can buy and put up either maybe in your garden space or take it portable. It's going to be a really neat segment. I hope you enjoy that. And we'll also talk a little bit about a topic question we had last week, which was the radio that got away. Remember, the one that you really missed that you got rid of? Well, a neat story about how a radio got away and found its way back home again. The whole passion of what we try and do is to help you get into amateur radio. That's really it. And you can do it. Don't make the test be the issue that scares you. And don't worry about Morse code. For the most part, most countries don't have Morse code as a requirement anymore to get your test. Contact someone like the American Radio Relay League at www.arrl.org. Please make sure that the contact us bar. They'll then send you an amateur radio club that's near you. Just tell them where you're located, and they'll send you the club. Get to know them. Help them. You're going to help them now, because what they're going to do is they're going to come alongside you, help you take the ham radio test and pass it. And then when you get on the air, they'll maybe help you with some gear you can borrow. www.arrl.org. We're also on WRMI shortwave. That's coming up quick. In fact, CQ Calling, powered by ICOM for the love of ham radio. Tomorrow, Hawaii, South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand have the show. Thursday at 0815 UTC on 7780 kilohertz. At 7780, a frequency switch. Used to be at 7730, but we've switched it over because it was causing problems with aircraft on the east coast of Florida. So now it's going 7780. Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East have the show 2015 UTC on 15770 kilohertz, and Friday 2115 UTC on 7730 kilohertz. North America has a show Thursday 7:30 p.m. Eastern on 9395 kilohertz, and the Caribbean, Central, and South America have the show Thursday 8:15 Eastern Time on 9955 kilohertz. And the neat part about that is if you can't catch the show, if propagation just isn't doing good for you, what you do is you simply go ahead and find it on the internet stream at www.wrmi.net at 8:15 Eastern Time. You'll pick up that 9955 kilohertz transmission. We have a question for today's show. What's the radio that got away? Yeah, that's the question, because we got a neat segment about it. And I talked last week about the radio that maybe you miss or you shouldn't have got rid of or wherever. We're going to talk about the radio that got away today because we have a really cool segment. I mean, it's one of a kind segment about a guy who lost his radio and it came back home again, which is really an interesting story. Really is. Let's get into the weather today. Powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. Here is your A1A. It's not the greatest day. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It's the sun. Here's the backside. There are many sunspots. And what I want you to look at, take a look at the southwest limb. You see all the brightness there? You'll see it here also. See how the brightness is coming around? I think we're going to see some better conditions coming up towards the weekend. We'll have to wait and see what the sun does. The 3-day solar flare detection right now, you can tell it's really bad. I mean, we're down in the B area. We're not even hitting C flares, but it's starting to spike up just a little bit. So there might be some hope in the forecast coming up for the coming week. Just 2 sunspot regions currently are visible. K-index, and this is why I'm a few minutes late. This changed right at 1900. Look at that. And we're now at K0. That means noise floors are beautiful right now to work 40 and 80 and 160 tonight. And here's some information regarding what happened when everything kind of went wrong. And we'll talk about that as I show you the QRZ conditions this morning. We had a solar filament eruption that happened on April 11th at 0455 UTC. It's possible, not probable, but possible that maybe that came through because conditions just dove this morning. They really did. Aurora Borealis, look at this. This is from yesterday. Look at how charged up the aurora was. And now today, barely visible. Southern Aurora, same way. Aurora Australis was pretty good yesterday, and now barely visible there as well. And here's what I'm talking about with how conditions really changed today. At 15:06 GMT, here was the conditions out of Boulder. SFI 96, solar number was 23, A index was 12, K was 4. Okay, that's much different than a K0. The BZ latitude positive 2.0, solar wind 477.9 kilometers per second. Moon bouncers, fair conditions, but look at those HF conditions. They're terrible. They're poor or fair. Nothing good. Thank goodness we waited a little longer before showtime, 1851, right before we were supposed to start the show. And look at the difference now. Yeah, here it is. SFI 96, solar number is 23. The A is still 12, but K is now 0, which is brilliant. BC latitude is moving farther north at 5.8 and the solar wind 461.5. And now you can see how those HF band conditions changed. We had a really good question once from a viewer that said, why does QRZ change so much when I look at them during the day? Here's a vivid reminder that they do. And it just matters that you take a look at it when you should, right? Before you put it on your radio. Here was the MUFs right around the same time that this was going on where HF conditions were poor. So this was at 1700 UTC. At that point, Europe was really pretty much on 15 meters. Not a whole lot of 10-meter propagation until you got really south towards the Middle East. If we look at it right now, the current MUFs, here they are. Alaska, 14 megahertz. You hit 21 megahertz right about the Canadian-U.S. border, 25 megahertz in Southern California, 30 megahertz right there around New Orleans and down towards Florida, 25 megahertz near Maine. In South America, everybody's happy. You're over 30 megahertz there. Right now in Europe, on the mainland, you've got 23 megahertz, 27 towards Italy, 17 as you head towards the Middle East. And in Australia, you're right about 8 megahertz at the very far part of the north coast and 10 megahertz there towards Perth. Your solar conditions of solar cycle 25, we're still way ahead of projection, so we should have a really good solar cycle. I think 25 may be one of the best in the last 75 years. I really do. It's going to be amazing to watch this progress. Your ham and shortwave forecast for today, powered by ICOM for the love of ham radio. Expect some QSB today, and that's not due to the negative BZ. It's just negative. We just don't have a whole lot of sunspots right now. Voice bands 20, 17, 15, and 12, but 10 will work in the southern part of places like U.S. You'll get 10 meters in Florida, but you probably won't get it in Washington State today. It will work south to north, and we can hope, and maybe it will. We'll see what happens, all right? If you're in the mid or equatorial latitudes, you'll have no problem. 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10. Northern Hemisphere CB skip, maybe some short openings, not really big ones for sure, but you'll have it in the mid and south latitudes. Data modes 30 to 12 meters in the north, 30 to 10 mid and south latitudes. Nighttime headband openings 160, 80, 75, 60, 40, 30. Best EX on 40 nighttime, but remember, work your maximum usable frequency at gray line for your best calls. Shortwave daytime bands. This is going to be neat. 31, 25, 22, and 19. And the 19-meter band is going to stay open in the north a little longer now, too. Shortwave nighttime bands 120, 90, 75, and 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and 100% chance of 19 meters in the northern hemisphere for about an hour after sunset, and the signals will fade away. Welcome to the show. Let's get you welcome. The first one to come in the shack is Dirk. He did it. Look at that. Well done, Dirk. Whiskey 9 Romeo Delta Yankee. First time he did it. That's great. Well done, Dirk. Happy Wednesday to you. It's nice to have you. Thank you for coming. Roger McKeon just barely missed it. It was really close, too. So, Roger, you almost did it. Bass, welcome. I hope everything's okay with you. I really am. You're in my prayers, my friend. I hope everything's all right. Rod Clare, Salem, Oregon's here. Kilo 7 Lima Alpha Papa, brilliant at VHF and UHF and the Willamette Valley Mesh Network. He loves it, and he loves his new ICOM 9700 as well. Rod, it's nice to have you. Thank you for coming as well. Daniel's here. That's the state of New Hampshire. Welcome, Daniel. It's nice to have you. Also, Will Myers, the state of Wisconsin, Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India Mike. Steve joins us from the UK. Hello, mate. Mike 7 India Whiskey Hotel. It's always a pleasure to have you. And we've got Andy New, Mike 7 Charlie Union November with a big old happy hump day wish. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Bristol is in the house. Always good to have you here, my friend. Rob is here. Hi, Rob. Good afternoon. His call sign November 7 Tango Tango Alpha. My brother Bob, courtesy of WIFI. Welcome to the show, Bob. Jeremy, just south of me here in Albany, Oregon, with one of the coolest call signs given out ever. Kilo 7 Victor Foxtrot Alpha. Yes, he's Kilo 7 VFO. Well done, Jeremy. Gosh, that's a great call sign. Andy joins us. Hi, Andy. Really did some great work in Poland to help people from Ukraine coming over the border. Man, that is a gift and a memory that I hope you never forget. His call sign, Alpha Alpha Zero Whiskey X-Ray. It's really nice to have you here. Aaron joins us from Wales. Mike Whiskey 7, Oscar Foxtrot Sierra. And we've got, wait a minute, we're just trying to make sure I got everybody. Didn't miss. Wicked Loud One is back. Welcome, mate. Good to see you. That's awesome. It's going to be a good show today. Goody, goody. All right, Scott joins us from the north side of the tracks, way by the old lady's house that has all the junky stuff in her yard. But Scott doesn't. He lives in a nice house with ham radios. Kilo Charlie 2, Charlie Alpha Delta Scott. Good afternoon in North Boston, New York. We want to also welcome Steve. He said, I forgot about the ISS SSTV transmissions. Keep working it. You'll get it. And Bass, you're welcome. You're in my prayers, my friend. All right. Why do our conditions change? This could be just a short segment. Why do they change so much? Well, when the sun doesn't have a whole lot of sunspots on it. Okay, look at the sunspot number up here. It's 23. And the SFI, the solar flux index, is 96. Well, when the ionosphere starts to see those numbers, it's not so charged. That's what the reason is. It doesn't have as much ionization coming from the sun. The radiation comes to the ionosphere, and it charges it up. So when our signals hit it, those ions in the ionosphere vibrate quickly, and they refract our signals back to Earth. The higher the number is for the SFI, the better the ionosphere works. So when we have SFI numbers that are not in triple digits, and we have solar numbers that are not even close to triple digits, our propagation will suffer. And that's the reason why you're maybe not hearing 10 meters or 12 meters today when you've heard it last week. So that's a good reason why we watch our solar weather. It's because it affects our ionosphere just exactly lockstep. Does every time. It's a good thing. We're also going to welcome speakers. We got so much to do in the show. I'm really excited to do the show for you. I couldn't wait. In fact, I almost started it like 15 minutes early. And then I said, no, I better wait for the weather. And sure enough, it changed to a K0 noise floor. So that was good. We're going to honor somebody that comes to the show. You know him. You really do. This gentleman is so fun. This is Richard Scruffy. And he just called AJ. That's it. It's Richard Scruffy. But he goes by Scruffy here on the channel. Victor Kilo 5 Sierra Charlie Romeo. But he says it's Victor Kilo 5 Sugar Coated Radio. I think it's pretty good. Not bad. From Yorktown, South Australia. Look at this. This is where he's at, right here. He's in the southern part of Australia near Adelaide. That's where his QTH is. And he's got a heck of a ham shack. Look at this. Those 3 handhelds up top, desk mics. He's got a Yaesu FT-817. He's got his keyboard right there. He's got a beautiful shack, and it includes everything. Look at this. It's FT-817. He's got a nice little 2.77 Yaesu radio there. He's also got a CB. Look at this. This is a Phantom CB. That is so cool that he shares that part of the hobby too. I think it's awful cool, Scruffy. I think it's really cool you do that, man. That's awful cool, it really is. Here's a better look at his shack with everything right there, including the temperature outside. And there's it backward. They're kind of looking back at what he's got. Some nice monitors. And that is the beautiful shack of Scruffy Victor Kilo 5 sugar-coated radio. We thank you for coming to the channel. And by the way, there is one more photo of a microphone he has. Scruffy, thank you for joining Ham Radio Live as much as you do. It's an honor to have you. Thank you. I mean that. Thank you. Okay, we're going to talk about the largest comet in history, the one that they've never thought they'd see. It really was. It's the biggest comet ever. And there was word that maybe the comet was, this comet's coming towards Earth. No, it's not. But let me at least give you some stuff from NASA. This is the current released information from NASA and the Goddard Space Center about what the Hubble Space Telescope saw and what's coming, not to, destroy the Earth. No, not doing that. But it's going to be in the solar system. Let's take a quick look.
The size of the largest icy comet nucleus ever found, and it's big. With a diameter of approximately 80 miles across, it's about 50 times larger than typical comets. Its 500 trillion ton mass is 100,000 times greater than the average comet. The challenge was distinguishing the solid nucleus from the huge dusty coma enveloping it. The comet is so far away that its nucleus is too small for Hubble to resolve. Instead, Hubble found a bright spike of light at the nucleus's location. Astronomers made a computer model of the surrounding coma and adjusted it to fit the Hubble images. Then, the glow of the coma was subtracted, leaving behind the star-like nucleus. Size was then estimated from its brightness. The behemoth comet is barreling this way at 22,000 miles per hour, but don't worry, it won't get any closer than roughly 1 billion miles away from the Sun, slightly farther out than Saturn.
There you go. That's courtesy of NASA and the Goddard Space Center. Thanks for the info. That's good. I want to thank Bass as well. Bass was the one who talked about it on our Discord channel at ham-radio-live. So Bass, thanks for bringing that out. I had a chance to review that real quick. And what was neat was being able to understand what it was. So if you have something you want to share that might be on the show, please find me at ham-radio-live here on Discord. And we'll make sure and share what you have. If you want to email me, you can do so as well at CQ, hamradiolive@gmail.com. Thank you to Bass for bringing that good stuff. Thank you for adding that information for us today. That's good. That's good. Because we do care about things like that. We really do. All right, let's talk about guests that are coming to the channel, and I've got some big news for you. First of all, Josh, and this is huge news. Josh from Ham Radio Crash Course joins us this Saturday, April 16th, 1900 UTC. He'll be taking your questions, all things radio. Josh is a wonderful guy, and I'm so excited and honored he's coming. Please join us. This will be at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. If you're in the UK, it's going to be right there at 6 p.m. In Australia, Eastern side of Australia, I know a little early, 6 a.m., but please join us. Meet Josh, Kilo India 6, November Alpha Zulu from Ham Radio Crash Course. Coming up then the following Saturday on the 23rd at 19 UTC, we're going to meet Brent, Whiskey 7 Backroads. He's going to join us from inside the Earth Cruiser to talk about portable operating and a whole lot more. Please join us for a wonderful show. That'll be fun. Brent, looking forward to that as well. Plus, Chris, Digital Analog Ham, April 30th at 19 UTC. That's Chris, 2 Echo Zero Union Kilo Hotel. We're going to talk about handhelds. We've never covered the subject here, and we're so excited that Chris is going to join us. And big news, and this is big news because I'm pretty excited. We're going to give you a real good opening. Coming up, by request from Kevin O'Doublehead, all the way in Ireland, Tim Duffy, Kilo 3 Lima Romeo, joins us live on Ham Radio Live, June 11th at 1900 UTC. Make sure and join us for Tim Duffy K3LR right here on Ham Radio Live. Gosh, that's going to be fun. I am so excited for that. Woohoo! So, Kevin, thank you for the request. We tried and it worked out. I'm so grateful and honored that Tim will be part of the show. That's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to know how dumb Larry is, you can find out pretty quickly. In fact, I'm not afraid to say I don't know everything.
My name is Larry.
Pretty much, okay. Join me on Tio's channel, which is temporarily offline. I'll be live with Kilo Mike 9 Golf talking about, he's going to teach me how to work FT-8. I'm going to learn how to put it on my computer, how to use it, and how to make calls. Please join us on his channel. That's at temporarily offline. I'll have a link to it in the description of this video. So please join us for that. Also, coming up on May the 1st, that's a Sunday at 23 UTC, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Join me on Red Summit RF. That's Charlie's channel. We'll talk about solar weather and working portable from Hawaii. It'll be a fun talk with Charlie. I'm looking forward. I'm very honored to be part of his channel and enjoy that wonderful segment with Charlie. These are going to be fun times. And if you can please join us for that, please do. We'd love to have you. It'd be an honor. It really would be. Charlie and Tio, thank you both for the invite to do that. Okay. Don't forget the question of the show. What's the radio that got away? I'll tell you mine. It's pretty simple. I've said it a million times. It's the ICOM 756 Pro 3. It got away. And I knew when I was selling it, it was a mistake. Have you ever got into that? Where you're packaging it up, right? You're making sure the instructions and you got the microphone, you got all the stuff for it. And you're going, gosh, I don't want to do this. This is a mistake. I don't want to do this. Yeah, that was how I felt with that. There was one other radio I felt that with, and that was the Elecraft K3. It wasn't the K3S, but it was the K3, and it had all the SSB filters I wanted. I was like putting it in the box, going, oh gosh, I don't want to get rid of this radio. What is the radio that got away for you? Let me know in the comment section, and we'll make it part of today's show. And also a neat segment about that, too. Neat segment. Neat segment about it. Plus, we're also going to talk about an easy antenna, one that you can buy for less than $100, and it's going to work. You ready for this? 8 bands. It really will. It'll work 8. You're going to need a loading coil for it, or maybe just a clip-on alligator clip wire, a little long, maybe another 17 feet, and that'll work you 40. Man, it's going to be easy. You'll love this segment. You really will. So looking forward to having you. And by the way, look at, oh my gosh, you got people who are sick. What's going on? Anton, enjoying the flu at the moment. Oh, jeez. 103-degree fever. I'm sorry, man. I hope you feel better soon. We really mean that. And Dirk, thank you very much. That's our Discord channel. Dirk, thanks for being right on top of things again. You're a good man. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, Bass. Never, ever miss the Best Ham Radio Show again. Please subscribe and hit the bell button. Bless your heart. Bass, that is so nice. And listen to this. This guy's in the hospital right now. Isn't that nice? Bass, thank you. I mean that. Wow. What a nice thing to say. And, and all credit to Bass about the comet thing, because I didn't know about it. I really didn't. Yesterday, I got to tell you, this is funny. And we'll get to who's here. I promise we'll get to who's here. I promise. But yesterday, okay, it starts out, and like a normal day would start for your life, right? You start out in the morning, and I get up at about, 5:30, right? Which is a little early for me, about 6, I'm about a 6 o'clock guy, 5:30. At 6:50, my brother's healthcare people call. They say, I know he told you yesterday that he's not supposed to come in for any infusion for chemo, but gosh, he really could use some other medication. It's going to take about 5 hours to do it. So is there any possibility that you can maybe get him in? And I'm like, it's not even 7 a.m. yet. She said, I know. I am sorry. I'm really sorry. And we're not sure if we can really get him in yet because he was in the hospital last week. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, maybe not. And so I'm like, what are we doing? So they say, well, wait another half hour. We'll check and we'll let you know if he's got to come in or not. Great. Half hour goes by. They call me back in 45 minutes. They say, okay, we need him here now. When can you have him here? And I'm like, a half hour? And they're like, okay, please bring him in. And so we didn't get done with all that till after 2 p.m. yesterday. So that was why there was no show yesterday. I'm so doggone sorry, but it was like one thing after another. And finally, Bob is fine, by the way. Everything's good. It's just that it was like one of those days that starts right off the top. That's how it was. Thank goodness. Jeez. Oh boy, the life of Larry. Hey, 10 meters is open. Look at this. I'm not kidding. Look, I'll show you. 10 meters. Look. There's a signal. Let's listen. Hold on.
David, go ahead.
That's a 10 meters.
Yeah, I'm filming. I don't know.
So, hey, 10 meters is working right now in the Northwest. That's a good sign. I like that. Always keep an eye on 10. Always try and keep an eye on 10. It's good. Hey, is the redneck music still playing?
Yeah, QSL.
There we go.
Well, I think I've been to Cleveland. Yeah, I know I've been to Cleveland one time.
You never
that's
forget
where
that you've
the
been to
Kentucky
Cleveland,
line is,
man.
David?
Never. You know if you've been there, especially in the wintertime. Yeah. All right, so we're talking about the radio that got away today. That's today's topic question. What was the radio that got away for you? You know, the one that you knew, oh gosh, this is not a good thing. Put it in your comment section, and we will see if we can add it to the show, okay? By the way, this is so important because this guy comes from a place that nobody knows, and we can't share it either, all right? I would be killed if I shared this information. He's a ham who knows things so brilliantly that before you even ask the question, he already has the answer for you. He is the man, the myth, and the legend. The Smoking Ape has joined the show. Welcome, Ape. Good to see you, man. It's great to see you, buddy. A quick in and out. Well, we're grateful that you came in to say hello. It's always a pleasure when you come. If you don't, go to his channel. You should. Smoking Ape here on YouTube. Also, a wonderful host at Coffee and Ham Radios. I had a great time on Saturday. That was just fun. Didn't feel like an interview. Just felt to me like a lot of fun talking with some friends. That was a nice show. I enjoyed spending time with Chuck and with T.O. and the Smoking Ape. Good channel. Nice people, really. So, all right, the one that got away, put it up in the comment section and we will let you know. Plus a neat story about this. A really neat story. Because one of those things that happen is when you know you've let it get away and you've let it go, you got something coming back typically, right? Like you're selling it for a reason. Is the reason, is it good enough when you get it? For me, yeah, it wasn't really the way I wanted it. Rob Q, welcome. First timer, welcome. I am too hot. Wow. Way too hot. Sorry. You did a great video about MFJ. Thank you. Well done. Oh, thank you, Rob. Thank you. That was a treat to go in there. That was a lot of fun. Thank you. AV, a lot of great people in upcoming talks. Great. That'll be fun. So we'll hope that we'll be able to do pretty well. And hopefully you guys can join us for those shows because that'll be a lot of fun. Andy said, I never had a hobby with so many great people giving support and showing so much love. Get licensed, guys, for those who aren't already. That is a great comment. That really is. And Kevin, doggone it, we got Tim. He's coming. Just in case you didn't see it, there it is. Live June 11th at 19 UTC for Kev. Kev was the one who requested Tim to come on. And thankfully, we're able to get Tim Duffy from DX Engineering to come on. That is so stinking cool. Really grateful to have that honor. I didn't mean it's an honor. Okay, we've talked a little bit about Radio Got Away. I told you about the one that was my radio that got away. And you know, sometimes you know it, but here's a neat story, and it has Charlie in it too, which is kind of cool. November Juliet 7 Victor. Watch this. This is, and I'll have the YouTube video link in the description section, a story about a radio that got away, but somehow it found its way home again.
Hi, I'm Tracy, VE3TWM. Thank you for tuning in to Outdoors on the Air. This video is a bit different from my standard fare, but it's a short one, so I hope you'll stick around and hear me out. Back in the late winter of 2020, my portable gear collection consisted of 2 HF rigs, my Yaesu FT-817 ND and my Yaesu FT-817D. Being a keen observer of the ham radio world, I was well aware of the market's transition from old time-tested rigs to more modern and fully updated radios like the ICOM IC705. Feeling a need to move my experience forward and not get stuck in a rut, I decided to sell off my FT-817 ND and try something else. As a result, I found a good home for the 817. Fast forward to the late summer of 2021. My stable of portable transceivers now consisted of my Yaesu FT-897D and a Yaesu FT-891. I had briefly owned an ICOM 703, which I liked very much, but another ham wanted it more than I did, so off it went. A couple of my fellow Canadian hams, well known for their QRP achievements, questioned my motives for selling off the QRP rigs, but I shrugged those comments off. However, one comment on a recent video of mine really resonated with me. That comment started me thinking in depth about my feelings toward QRP. I began to realize I really missed having and operating a low-power rig to haul along on my outdoor exploits. I made a decision to acquire another flea-powered radio to round out my collection. As is customary for me when making a large purchase, I sold off some of my unused gear to help raise capital for the new-to-me rig. I say new to me as I fully intended to buy a used transceiver. I placed an ad in a prominent provincial online swap shop, seeking either a Yaesu FT-817 ND or an 818. To my absolute surprise, the ham I sold my trusty 817 ND reached out to me, asking if I'd like to buy back the rig I had sold him the previous year. Brian told me he just did not use the rig as much as he intended to originally, only logging about 6 hours on it since he made the purchase. In addition, he had acquired some accessory items for the 817, and he asked me if I'd like to buy those from him as well. I jumped at the chance to get my rig back, and without a moment's hesitation agreed to make the deal. It was about this time that I realized the gravity of the mistake I had made when I sold the 817 ND in the first place. Knowing the rig was coming back to me gave me a thrill I have never before experienced when buying a radio. Now, I am a pretty even-keeled guy. I don't get emotionally attached to objects. But this 817 has been through so much with me and performed so well. I've taken it backpacking and canoe tripping, used it in the rain, the snow, the heat, and the humidity, and it had never let me down. I've got a lot of fantastic memories made while operating this tiny radio. I now realize I do have a heartfelt attachment to this rig. I'll tell you this, I'll never sell it again. Yes, the 817 is old tech, but it's really good, solid tech. Earlier this year, Charlie from Red Summit RF asked me, of all the rigs I have used over the years, which one did I like the most? At that time, I didn't have an answer. But now I am very clear as to my response to that question going forward. The 817 truly is my all-time favorite radio. So while other YouTube channels are presenting you with videos featuring the latest and greatest QRP rigs, I'll be hanging back for a bit, enjoying the heck out of this 20-plus-year-old design and all it can do. I'm sure I'll get around to purchasing an up-to-date QRP rig at some point, but for now, I'll be living my ham radio dream with my Yaesu FT-817. What about you? Do you have an emotional attachment to one of your portable rigs? If yes, please leave a comment below and tell me and the other viewers which rig you hold dear and why. I'd really enjoy hearing about it. That's all for this time. Thank you for watching. Now it's your turn. Get out of the shack, get outdoors, and get on the air. 73 from Tracy, VE3 TWM.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? I reached out. How the whole story begins, because I'll tell you the backstory, because the backstory is very interesting, I think. I reached out to Charlie, and I asked him, Charlie, what's your favorite radio? What's your go-to? And he said the Yaesu 817 ND. He's really clear about it, right? And so I went and I started searching videos, and I found that. And then it told me about that he had talked with Charlie about it as well, and Charlie loved it. And here's Charlie from Red Summit RF, and look at Charlie's comment, which is so good. Love this radio. Isn't that cool? You know, it doesn't have to be the newest tech. It doesn't have to have a waterfall display. It certainly doesn't have to have all the gizmos and gadgets that modern radios have. It can have just what you like and what you get used to, and use the heck out of it, because that's why it was designed. I love one comment that came through, and I haven't put on the screen yet for a reason, because I wanted good timing for it. And it's this from Andy, Alpha Alpha Zero Whiskey X-Ray. unused gear? Blasphemy. Very good point, Andy. Yeah, you don't ever want to have unused gear. If you get to that point, you're a collector. You're not a ham radio guy. Nothing against people who collect gear. Don't mean it that way. But just think about it, right? How much that meant to him to get that radio back. It's a neat story. I want to thank Charlie for the inspiration to do it, and then it came full circle that Charlie was part of the same video too. How about that? That was pretty neat. I thought that was pretty cool. And, you know, Kevin in the UK, and we've talked about this before because this is a radio that I wanted straight out of, you know, getting my license. I do want to say hello to Lon Moore. Great to see you. He says, hola to all you ham radio livers. Welcome, Lon. It's nice to have you. First time. Nice to have you, mate. Good to meet you, my friend. Kevin in the UK. The radio that got away, the IC 7600. This was my first HF transceiver. That wasn't secondhand. Alas, sometimes you have to let go the old kit to finance the new. And then you kind of wonder, did I make a mistake because I got something new? I don't know. But it's your choice, right? If you love what you have, hold on to it. It doesn't have to have all the I call it the bling, you know, the beautiful screens, all that stuff, right? You don't need that. You just have to love the radio. And if you do, you've got something maybe for the rest of your life. Really. Yeah. Love that story. So thanks for sharing that too. And this is good. AV with a good point. If you see something open like 10 meters, please call CQ. Good point. Yep, absolutely. So, and he's right, because we do have intermittent openings today. And there again is the link for Outdoors on the Air. Thanks to Dirk for putting that in. And also want to thank him for putting the Ham Radio Live interview at MFJ. That's where we're going to go next. So we'll segue into the MFJ stuff and let you know a little bit about what we're going to talk about next, okay? We're going to talk about an antenna that is so easy to use. You won't believe it. Look, here it is. Here's the antenna. Pretty simple, right? Just open it up, 17 feet, and it just goes up and down. And all you have to do is just make it go up and down based on the length, the wavelength you're going to work. And for people that may not understand how to do an antenna, this is really important. I want to make sure we get to this. If you are, let's say this, let's say you're in a place where you can't put up an antenna in a garden. Maybe you're in the second floor of a multi-tenement apartment building, but you can work portable. Say, for example, you can take a battery with you, or you can take maybe some sort of portable power, right? Or you have a commons area where you could put up an antenna really quick and take it back down. All right. Something like the MFJ 1979 will work brilliantly for you. All you have to do is just adjust it for wavelength, up or down. The top is 20 meters, so when you max it out, it's going to work 20. You start to bring it down to work the lower bands. My mate Chuck from his YouTube channel, which is KK6USI, did a great video on it. He also one of the hosts on Coffee and Ham Radios. Let's take a look at just how resonant this antenna is.
Okay, so I'm using my DJI Osmo Action to look at the actual SWR, and right now it's 1.35, so I'm probably not going to mess with it, but we will just anyhow. So 3.3 up. So actually this is probably as good as we're going to get it right there. 1.36. That's plenty good enough. So let's go change it to somewhere in the 17 meter band. So 2.5, we're probably long, so I'll take the bottom section, I'm going to move it down a little bit. 2.3, 2.1, 2.0. So I'm one whole section down. I'm 1.7, 1.5, 1.3. Okay, 1.3, let's see, wait a minute, 1.34. Good enough. So let's go into 15. Okay, we're at 2.5, so we need to go shorter. We know that because 2.0, 1.6, 1.40. Okay, it went up a little bit, so let's go back up just a little. 1.4. That's good enough. So now let's go to, let's do 24 or something. We'll go down to we're 2 sections down, 1.7, 1.3, 1.27. That's good enough. So now let's go to 10 meters. 2.7 and 20. Okay. 2.3. 2.0. 1.8. 1.6. 1.47. 1.30. 1.2. 1.21. That's probably as good as we're going to get it. So I mean, with this setup, you get 10 through 20 easily. I could probably do 6, but this meter does not do that. I have to change meters. I can do that real quick. Okay, so that's 2. A little below. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, yeah, look at that. We are not going to mess with that. I think that's 1.1. Let's see. Let's just go a little farther, see what happens. Yeah, well, that's good right there. So 6 to 20, guys. Now, I know how to make it go to 40 also, without using the impasse. Okay, guys. So what I've done in the past is, so we're 17 feet, so somewhere around 34 feet, 35 feet. I'd probably hook a 19-foot piece of wire to it, extend it up with one of my push-up poles, kind of at a little slope back to the 17. And I've done this before, and I know you can get 40 on it too. I just don't have time to do it today. Maybe if I get a chance tomorrow, maybe I'll throw it up there and show you, but I know it'll do it. So I've done it in the past, and that works pretty good. So that gives you basically 40 through, and then you could probably adjust other bands in between also if you wanted to. Now 80, that'd be a tough one, but maybe a coil at the bottom. Lots of things. You could throw a Wolf River coil in here also, so that would work also. The impasse, I could throw the impasse on and we could get it right now with a tuner. With the Wolf River coil, you could tune it in perfect. So, hey, I hope this is helpful for you guys. So it's a pretty easy project for people. I think almost anybody could do it. And, you know, it's pretty easy for me. 20 meters is my go-to. And with that whip, you can get probably 6 to 20, anything in between. This is Chuck, KK6USY for Ham Radio Adventures. Be safe, 73 all, and I hope to catch you on the airwaves.
And I didn't give you all of the great content that Chuck put on that video. There's a tremendous amount of it that goes before this segment that really is important. And again, I want to thank Dirk for putting his link up. It'll also be in the description section below. Here it is for you at Ham Radio Adventures. Chuck also, by the way, is a host on Coffee and Ham Radios on Saturday and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Central. We want to thank Chuck for a great video about a very easy antenna. Like I say, I've had a long time. The 1979 is the most versatile ham radio antenna I have ever seen. So, Chuck, thanks for the great video. And you may be saying, I don't like saying that on this channel. I'm sorry. I was going to say, you may be saying, Larry, but how does it work? I don't want to do that. Let me just show you the results you can get with using this antenna. All right, let's pretend you're portable and you're not even using full power. Let's say it's only 85 watts. Here's Tom in Bahrain, Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey, using this antenna from Bahrain. Take a look.
Hey, Larry. Okay, this was from my last outing here. Now, today, my outing today started at about 5:30 local, right? And almost all my contacts were on 15 meters. You can see I got 3 pages of contacts. 15 meters, I worked into New York, Michigan, Ohio, Maryland, Connecticut, a lot of European stations, got into Indonesia, etc. Of course, you got the Russian and the European stations there. I heard a Sudanese station, but the whole world was calling him. I just wasn't going to get a hold of him. But 99% of this was on that MFJ, once again. Amazing. Now, the reason I came out here, this is the anecdote. This is the story. The reason I came out here today, I had a bunch of stuff to do. I had to go to work today, but I actually decided not to go to work, even though I needed to. Because when I was cutting a new piece of wire, 67-foot piece of wire to replace the wire that's on my 40 through 10 half-wave end fed with the coil, I'm just getting rid of that whole thing and removing the coil and then going to a straight piece of wire to 66, 67 feet until I just tune it and then it'll be happy. I couldn't find my half-wave end fed. And then I realized, oh, damn, I probably left it by the sea on the last time I was out. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And I realized, well, I better go out and have a look. You never know. And Larry, you don't believe it. I found my antenna. 2 weeks later, someone had just balled it all up and just thrown it on the rocks. And I found the antenna. And I used it to make a few QSOs again this afternoon. And then I switched over to the MFJ antenna, and I made about 30 contacts with that all over the world, including North America. So I got lucky. I found my antenna, so there you go. I thought you might enjoy that story. Anyway, all the best, Larry. Take care. I was listening to a station in Port Elizabeth a moment ago, which is in South Africa, but I don't know who's there now. So anyway, I had a nice pile up today, so that was nice, yeah? Don't work those very often, but it's always nice when you do get a few. All the best, my friend, 73, and I hope that everything is going well your way today.
Isn't that great? The MFJ 1979, it's under $100. It's easy to use. You just simply adjust it up. You go all the way to the top. You just adjust it fully. You'll be in 20 meters, and you start to go down, as you go down to, say, 15, 17, 12, 10, all of that. It's easy. I mean, it's super easy to use. And if you need a frequency formula to be able to use, if using this antenna, here it is. If you're in the United States, quarter wave vertical, it's going to be 234 divided by whatever working frequency you want. Okay, metric, 75 divided by frequency for length. Now, you might be saying, oh, no, it's 300 divided by frequency, Larry. No, that's for a full wave. For a quarter wave, just make it easy. Go 75, and you'll have the right length. And man, you could just, if you want to, you can take this thing and just mark it. If you want, like, say, for example, you get here, and that might be 15 meters. You maybe mark it with a pen or something, 15, and then you got it set up that way, and you work your way from the bottom, from the top down. So you sort of first, like what Chuck did, you first start lowering the bottom section and then the next bottom section and so on till you have it all tuned in. MFJ 1979 antenna, I think the very best antenna buy there is for really what it brings you on the market there is in the world today. Fantastic stick. Unbelievable. And what's really cool is you can take something simple like this. You see these things? These you could buy at Amazon. They're just little rebar stakes. You just hook it up there with their trailer mount. It hooks up. It goes right in the ground. And by the way, you don't need ground radios for it. MFJ 1979, a great antenna for working portable or putting into a really smart garden. I think it's a great, great product. All right. Let's also share a little bit of stuff. We got some stuff today. The angry hams have been around here for a couple of days. The problem is you got to feed the guys. That's what I don't like. Got to feed them. And then, you get ready to do the show. They got to sit there for a while. And finally they're here. And I think if I don't put them on soon, they're going to get really angry. So let's hear about the Angry Ham segment today on Ham Radio Live.
I have to introduce the final number. Everyone else around here has turned Swedish.
Not all of us, you old bat. Some of us were deferred to see Now you are too, you Martin Warnsberby.
So much for that.
Nu Gavnorska Brock first new. Die Morgens there, die Morgens and I demand it now. Wait a minute. I can talk. The spell is broken. We're saved.
The Angry Hams. Happy Wednesday, everybody. All right. Right now, the world is in a big lead, 70-40, and we'll see if Steve from the UK, Mike 7, India Whiskey Hotel, can take 3 in a row. We'll see. First question, how many ammeters existed in 1917 in the United States? right? Was it A, 2,000, B, 6,000, C, 10,000, or D, 12,000? And I'm going to give you a little hint. It's not the obvious. It's not the obvious, all right? A, 2,000, B, 6,000, C, 10,000, or D, 12,000. Let me know with A, B, C, or D, and we'll let you know who gets it right and which continent gets it for this first question. Good luck. Okay, first one. Yeah, Jim Henson, he was a genius. Oh, gosh, he was gifted. Thank you, Dirk. It's very good. Thanks also for all the links. It's really nice to have you today, Dirk. Thanks for being here. Whiskey 9, Romeo Delta Yankee. I think the very best moderator there is in YouTube, for sure. Man, I got a good, I'm blessed to have some really good ones. Rod in Salem, and Dirk in Wisconsin, and Andy in the UK, Tom in Bahrain. Some really good people. Grateful for them. All right. So how many U.S. hams were there licensed in the year 1917? First one, Dirk, Whiskey 9, Romeo Delta Yankee answers B. It was 6,000. Is that true? It is true. Congratulations, Dirk. You got it for North America. Well done. Wow. Yep, 70 to 50. Yeah, there were 6,000. Can you believe that? I initially thought 2,000. I really did. But then it's like, that's kind of obvious. I'll go. And I did. I really did. I hit B and I was like, oh, I got it right. Oh, that's cool. Will Myers in Wisconsin also had it. So did Andy Cowley. Steve got it. Bass, I like the angry hams. No! Yeah. Red Summit RF, that's our friend Charlie, November Juliet 7 Victor. By the way, one of the best YouTube channels there is anywhere on YouTube. Find him here at Red Summit RF. He had it right as well. Aaron in Wales had A. And John, welcome to the show. Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Juliet X-Ray. He had A. Anton in Holland with C. Andy New with A. Bass with B. Kevin with D. This is great. Anton says, I think 10,000 is a little much, but it sounds like a nice number. Well,
allow me to introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name is Wile E. Coyote. Genius.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, sounds like a nice number. We'll go with that. Dirk. Thank you. That's nice of you to say about being in the chat. Thank you. Rob, good job, man, with C. That's good. And Robert Varner, interesting. I'll have to look into that MFJ 1979 antenna. I have a Buddy Pole portable antenna, but have not utilized this as much as I want so far. You know what's interesting about that antenna? And by the way, Dirk, congratulations. I think it's the first one you got right first. That's cool. Yep. Hey, he's getting lots of love. Look at the flowers he's getting from Canada and the UK. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. You know, I think what I love about the antenna, something pretty simple, is if you go and you add like another 17-foot wire to it, say a clip, you put an alligator clip on it, right? And you just kind of put on the end of the antenna, and then you string it up into a tree, 40 meters. You don't necessarily have to have a coil for it. It'll work 40 by length, but just make sure that the end of the wire is up pretty high. It's a really versatile antenna. It really, really is. All right, we got a second trivia question for you. Also, we're 10 points. We'll see how well you do with this one. Excluding Alaska and Hawaii, which U.S. call sign district is the largest in terms of total square miles? Is it B, 4? Now, that would be call district 4 in the U.S. C, call district 5 in the U.S. Or D, call district 7 in the U.S.? Let me know with B, C, or D, and we'll let you know who gets the second question right today on Ham Radio Live. What I found funny about this question is they couldn't think of an A, right? Because it's usually A, B, C, or D, or they're true or false. But this one, they can only go B, C, and D. Why not just go A, B, and C and just make it? Well, anyway, that was kind of how I thought of it. But yeah, first one up. Then we'll see if he can make it work. Maybe I don't know. Will Myers, first one in. Dirk, yeah, I don't know if you were trying to type a number, but yeah, I'm sorry. You had 0, and unfortunately, 0 is not the answer we can use. No! Sorry, man. That was almost 2 for 2. Will Myers, State of Wisconsin, Kilo Alpha 8, Golf India Mike says C. That would be 7, and he would have it correct. Well done. That's right. It is 7. Call District 7. And it's kind of closer than you think, too. Yeah, we'll go over that in just a second. Roger McKeon had D. Andy had Call District 5. Red Summit RF had 5. Steve was C. Andy Cowling, the UK, also was C. Dirk was C. Anton and Hollywood D. Cliff Bolts with B. And yeah, right, Steve? What the heck happened with A? No! Don't know either. It's like, why not just make it A, B, C? No, that's much too complicated. Aaron from Wales had B. Kevin in the UK had C. Dirk, wait, I changed to D. Let me have D. Andy was C. Ron Walensky, I'm so glad you're here. You got D. And Anton, yes, A has simply vanished. Robert Varner with D. Jeremy in Albany, Oregon with D. Barry Wendon, welcome, my friend. He had D. Scott had Call District 5C, and Rod in Pennsylvania had A. Yeah, here's a view of it. So it gives you an idea of the U.S. call districts. The answer was 5, 7, and 4. Okay, that was really it. Now, you'd think maybe they could have come up with 0 here, too, because Call District 0 is pretty big, too, right? But no, they used only 3, so it was 5, 7, or 4. And you know, you think about total square miles, well, you know, from the New Mexico-Arizona border all the way to the Mississippi-Alabama state line's pretty far. And then you go all the way from the Oklahoma and New Mexico northern border south, that's pretty big too. So, yeah, the answer was C, the 7, which is close to number 5, not too far away in terms of square miles. Congratulations for getting it right first. And doggone, I thought you almost had it, Dirk. When I saw 0, I was going, oh man, did he mean C? Will Myers in Wisconsin got it. Well done, Will. All right, there's 2 for North America today. Game's getting close. Now it's 70-60. We have a game. How about that? That's pretty cool. All right, folks, we're going to close the show at this point. I invite you to turn your radio on today, and here's how things will work, okay? Let's get a look at a current MUF map, because I'd like to make sure and help you the best I can. Wherever you are in the world, this will be helpful, okay? So here is the current MUF map, and as you can see, the numbers are quite low compared to last week, and that's simply because the sunspot number has literally been cut in half, and the amount of sunspots has been cut in 3/4. No kidding. It is literally 75% fewer sunspot number this week. So 23 megahertz right about the Canadian border south into the United States. In Canada, 23 megahertz north up to about, oh, you guys are working up to 14. So anywhere between 15 and 20 meters right now in Canada. If you're in the US, if you're in the north, you're going to be right around 22, 23 megahertz. In the south, on the west coast, 24 megahertz. And the reason for that is because it hasn't had enough time to ionize the atmosphere. It's much more ionized in the east because the sun has been overhead longer. That's why it works that way. That's why places like Louisiana are at 29 megahertz. So this will very, very slowly go east and north go west, west and north as the day goes. If you're in South America or Africa or in Australia, it's not going to matter so much. But here in the Northern Hemisphere, like Europe and the United States and parts of Asia, that's how it's going to work. It'll go from the east to the west, and it's going to go south to north in order to get to higher frequencies. Work the frequencies the best you can, and then as you kind of go on, take a little listen. Doesn't hurt to have something else maybe on 10 meters and see where it's at, right? Let's take a look at your final comments, and we'll close the show. And I want to thank you for being here, guys. I mean that, because it's always my pleasure to see you, and I look forward to doing the shows. And with that comes this. My heart is always 100% into doing a show every day. It is. It's just that things just happen like yesterday that you weren't expecting, and it just kind of, it's tough. So just please understand the heart is in it. Thank you for watching Ham Radio Live. Your final comments, and yeah, Dirk, I had forgotten that Alaska was in 7. It is, but they made sure to say don't include Alaska. That was why. Could you imagine if they included Hawaii in with, California? Man, what a huge call district that would be. Yeah. Steve, A was probably 0, which is false to a computer. Probably some dodgy code somewhere made it disappear. Well done, Steve. Mike 7, India Whiskey Hotel. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. and Dirk, good possibility, Steve. That's very well. And Robert Varner, poor guy, he feels ionized at times. No! Not a good thing. Kevin, I'm QRT at the minute, forced to sell up, sadly, due to abusive neighbors. Had to take down my antenna. Oh, man, mate, I'm sorry. Oh, geez. Well, the MFJ 1979 can go up in about 3 or 4 minutes. And you're tuned and you're working. And then we get mad, you just pull it back down. Nothing to see here. Just a thought. Guys, my name is Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7 Hotel November. God bless you wherever you may be in this world. Thank you for being here. If you'd like to get your amateur radio license, please contact someone like the Radio Society of Great Britain. They are so good at helping people find a ham radio club close to them, amateur radio club close to them, right? Okay. That can help them get their license. www.rsgb.org. Just make sure you hit the contact us bar. Let them know where you're located. They'll send you an amateur radio club that's close by. You contact them, get to know them, and they'll help you get on the air. www.rsgb.org. Okay, enjoy this sign off. This is a close down. Outside the U.S., we call them close downs, right? Here in the U.S., we call them sign offs. Okay, same thing. It's just the TV stations going off the air for the night. This one, in order of Tom's work, by the way, that MFJ 1979, right? He's only using 85 watts making those calls. He also, on that same MFJ antenna, MFJ 1979, worked North Korea. Wow. So we're going to do a Bahrain sign off for Tom. Until we meet again, wherever you may be, goodbye, everybody.